Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something that seems pretty straightforward on the surface. A birthday. Monday, November 10th. Dream Kardashian turned 9. Happy birthday to her.
Absolutely. A big milestone.
But, when the parents involved are Angela White, who most people knew as Blac Chyna, and Rob Kardashian, well, a simple birthday tribute suddenly becomes a lot more complicated.
That's exactly right. It's not just about the birthday wishes. It turns into this really interesting piece of communication. It tells us something or hints at something about their co-parenting, their relationship status, all under that, intense media spotlight.
Right, so our goal today isn't just to read the nice messages. We want to really dig into the source material, the posts themselves, what's been said before, the reports that came out afterwards to kind of understand the dynamic underneath.
Exactly. We're trying to look past the party elements, the cake and candles, if you will, and really analyze how this high-profile co-parenting thing works, especially how the public stuff, the celebrations, stack up against the, let's say, private reality of their connection. And this is particularly interesting after all that speculation just last month.
Okay, let's jump right in then. The absolute centerpiece here is Angela White's Instagram tribute for Dream.
It was incredibly detailed, very personal.
Oh, definitely. It wasn't just a quick, happy birthday, love, Mom. It was this really reflective piece. She talked about how Dream arriving brought this light that teaches me wisdom every day.
Yeah, I saw that. And how her laughter turns ordinary moments into magic. It feels like she's really crediting Dream with a lot of her own personal growth.
Precisely. That's the core of it, isn't it? It's a mother acknowledging her child, not just as someone she loves, but as someone who actively shapes her, teaches her things. It's quite profound, actually. And I was really struck by the part where she talked about motherhood itself, nurturing your authentic self with patience and endless love. That felt very deliberate.
Mm-hmm. And describing Dream as blooming into a wonderful young lady, brave, kind, and endlessly funny, it moves beyond just like standard celebrity praise. It sounds genuinely heartfelt.
It does.
Yeah.
But is there maybe something else going on there too? A strategic element, perhaps?
Well, I think so. It's sincere, sure, but look at the specific advice she gives Dream. That's where it gets really interesting. She says, never lose the warmth in your hugs, the kindness in your words, or your fearless curiosity.
That fearless curiosity part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that jumped out at me too.
Right. Because if you think about their lives always under scrutiny, that phrase takes on a different meaning. It's not just be curious about the world. It feels like advice on how to navigate, maybe even survive, living in the public eye.
So it's kind of like, hold on to your true self despite everything around you.
Exactly. Angela seems to be using this very public birthday message to set a narrative for Dream One focused on authenticity, kindness, inner strength. In a world that constantly tries to define kids by their famous parents' issues, telling her, stay true to who you are, my dear Dream. Well, that carries a lot of weight. It's almost like public armoring.
That makes a lot of sense. And then she wraps it up with, love, Mommy, which is standard, but adds that little kicker.
The inside joke, yes. Screaming the happiest happy 9th birthday. Let's party. Inside joke.
What do you make of that specific inclusion?
Honestly, I think it's maybe the most revealing part of the whole post. In a weird way, that little inside joke tag draws a line. It says, yes, this is public, but there's a part of our relationship, our bond, that is completely private that you, the audience, can't access.
So it reinforces their personal connection amidst the public display.
Precisely. It anchors the whole thing back into their private world, reminding everyone, maybe even Dream herself, that their real relationship exists beyond the Instagram post.
Okay, so that's the very present, very detailed message from Angela. But co-parenting involves two people. What about Rob Kardashian? And that's where the contrast really hits you. The sources we looked at are pretty clear on this. While Angela put out this incredibly long emotional tribute, Rob stuck to his usual script, which is digital silence, at least for Dream's recent birthdays.
Okay, but hang on, isn't that just Rob? I mean, he's famously private, hardly ever posts on social media. Are we maybe reading too much into his silence? Couldn't it just be that he prefers to celebrate privately?
That's a really fair challenge, and it's something we absolutely need to consider. The sources do give us that context. He is known for being withdrawn online.
So maybe it's not a statement, just his preference.
It could be. However, the sources also point out that he hasn't always been silent publicly for her birthday. There's a baseline there, remember back in 2022? Right, there was a post then, wasn't there?
Yes, exactly.
The sources confirmed he posted something quite sweet and public. Happy birthday to the sweetest and funniest girl. Daddy will always love you. Simple, but public. Okay, so he has done it
Did them.
before. He knows how the public birthday post works, so to speak.
Precisely. That past action establishes that his current silence isn't necessarily because he doesn't know how or doesn't care, but it seems to be more of a conscious choice now. The sources frame it as a definite shift in his public posting habits regarding Dream's birthday.
And that shift, chosen or not, inevitably fuels speculation.
Absolutely. Whether it's fair or not, when you have one parent being so incredibly effusive in public and the other completely silent publicly, well, people notice. The public, the media, they tend to fill that vacuum with assumptions, maybe tension, maybe detachment. His consistent quietness becomes its own kind of message, even if unintended.
It could also just be about setting boundaries, couldn't it? Managing his public exposure versus his private role as a dad.
That's definitely a valid interpretation, too. He manages his co-parenting relationship with Angelo, while she, of course, is also co-parenting her son, King Cairo, with Tyga.
Right, which adds another layer of complexity. Different dynamics, maybe different agreements or boundaries for each relationship, even if the goal, protecting the kids, is the same.
And it's that very complexity, that sort of established quiet rhythm they seem to have found, that made what happened in October so explosive.
Ah, yes, the speculation frenzy. Let's get into that. Because a single post from Angela really threw a wrench into the works, didn't it?
It really did. It sparked immediate, widespread talk about their relationship status. It was quite a calculated post, you have to say.
Describe it for us again. What exactly did she post? Okay, so picture this. Angela poses next to this gleaming white Ferrari. She's wearing a matching white lace outfit. Very striking, very luxe imagery. Okay, visually impactful. But the real bomb was the caption, wasn't it?
That was the ignition. She wrote definitively, "This love is forever" at Rob Kardashian official, and then added an infinity emoji.
Wow. Okay, this love is forever. Tagging Rob. Next to a Ferrari, wearing lace. You can see why people jump to conclusions instantly. The combination was just too potent. The phrase, "this love is forever," paired with that kind of romantic, almost bridal imagery, fans immediately went to, they're back together. It raised the question, is this the forever love of dedicated co-parents, or is this romantic love? The ambiguity was the key. And what really poured fuel on the fire was Rob's reaction, right? Which was unusual for him.
Highly unusual. He's practically a ghost online most of the time. But the sources confirmed that he actually engaged with this post. He quietly showed support by liking the post.
Just a like.
Yeah.
But coming from him, that's huge.
Exactly. That single rare action was interpreted by many fans as validation. It wasn't just Angela putting it out there. Rudd acknowledged it in his own minimal way. It acted like confirmation bias for everyone following the roller coaster history.
So his quiet like, ironically, made a lot of noise.
A massive amount of noise. Given his usual absence, that tiny digital footprint was all it took. The media jumped all over it. I mean, the potential narrative, high-profile, often volatile exes getting back together, that's irresistible clickbait.
It became a huge story almost overnight. Everyone was talking about them possibly rekindling things.
Yeah.
But then came the clarification. This is crucial.
Yes, this is where the sources provide the definitive answer, cutting through all the noise. The final word came pretty swiftly, actually.
What was it?
Sources connected to the situation spoke to major outlets like E! News and stated unequivocally that the two are not back together romantically. Full stop.
So the speculation was just that speculation. The forever love was about their bond as parents.
That seems to be the accurate reading, according to those follow-up reports. It points towards the interpretation that Angela was celebrating their strong, enduring connection as co-parents, the shared commitment to dream, rather than signaling a romantic reunion.
Which in itself is quite positive, celebrating a successful co-parenting dynamic.
But the way it was presented, exactly, it really highlights the incredible tightrope these individuals walk. Angela used very provocative, attention-grabbing visuals and language, possibly intended to celebrate their familial bond, but the immediate public reaction defaulted to the highest drama possibility: romance. It shows how hard it must be to control the narrative.
Immensely hard.
Yeah.
And the swift clarification reminds us that despite the occasional social media flare-up designed to grab attention, their main shared focus, according to those sources, remains providing a stable, loving environment for Dream through co-parenting.
It's quite a journey we've traced here. We started with this incredibly detailed, emotional birthday message from a mother to her 9-year-old daughter, focusing on authenticity and inner strength.
Yeah, really focusing on the child.
And we ended up dissecting the resolution of major relationship speculation that was triggered by a completely different, very strategically crafted social media post just a few weeks before. It really throws the contrast into sharp relief, doesn't it? On one side, you have Angela writing about Dream's authentic self and fearless curiosity, these deeply personal, nurturing sentiments, things you hope for your child.
Right. Very intimate.
But then on the other side, the minute a picture or a caption drops, even one potentially meant to signal something positive like co-parenting success or enduring family love, it gets instantly filtered through this lens of celebrity drama and potential romantic chaos.
The mental gymnastics involved in just existing publicly like that must be exhausting. Every word, every picture, even a passive like from Rob gets put under the microscope as evidence for some hidden narrative.
And it often overshadows the actual point, which might just be celebrating a child's birthday or acknowledging a functional parenting partnership.
It really makes you think. It does. And maybe this is the final thought to leave you, the listener, with.
Yeah.
Think about this duality. We see a mother publicly encouraging her daughter to stay true to who you are, to cultivate that authentic self.
Now, consider how incredibly difficult it must be to genuinely foster that authenticity in your child when every single move you make as a parent, a post, a like, a public appearance, even silence, is immediately seized upon, analyzed, and used to construct a narrative about your relationship status, about the parent's drama.
Yeah, the focus snaps right back to the parents, not the child's well-being or individuality.
Exactly. It forces them into this constant, maybe exhausting negotiation between the public spectacle people crave and the private reality they're trying to build and protect for their daughter. That relentless negotiation, navigating public perception versus private life, that seems to be the fundamental challenge at the heart of their world.